Digital 410 Productions proudly presents the What's in Your Head podcast.
Digitized live from the ACT Computer Studios in Cape Coral, Florida, it's the What's in Your Head podcast with your hosts Gordon and Don Abernathy.
What's up, what's up, what's up, OG5? We're back for another Monday show, and tomorrow is the big day. The day we've all been waiting for, and that is the cold front is coming to Florida. It's already getting cooler right now. I got all my windows open, all my doors open. It's been the first time and the longest time that I was able to open up all my doors and windows. So thank God for that. That's something we can all get behind. How are things going out there for you in Las Vegas, Gordon?
Well, it's finally cooled off out there today. Today we were teased with the chance of a little rain. It was kind of like that insurance commercial with the fishing rod. I almost had it.
Almost.
But no rain. I'm actually looking around and like, somehow, you gotta look at the screen for this one. I'm dual wielding.
Oh, nice.
I looked over and said, oh, Katina left it there.
Those aren't sticky holsters.
So yes, love the sticky holsters.
Are those both sticky holsters?
They are both sticky holsters.
Nice.
So
From the fine people down in Naples, Florida.
No, things are going good. Actually, our poor cat, and you know all about cats and health issues.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we went and, she's the equivalent of like 75 years old or something. She's 14. And we had to take her in Thursday to get her teeth cleaned. Well, her teeth cleaning ended up with a level 3 tooth extraction, 2 of them. And I was thinking back to 3 years ago when she had some teeth pulled. I was like, oh, I fucked her up for a week.
Really?
Yeah, so this time we took her to a vet that specializes just in cats, because the other place we'd go for her teeth work is just full of cats everywhere. It's like the crazy cat lady runs the place.
Sure.
And it smells. And although she's cheap, but we went to the specialist, and it was not cheap, but they pulled it, and we got her in the car, and she had a big old blood drool hanging out of her mouth. And her
all
eyes
been
were
there.
blown, right?
Yep.
And then her eyes were blown for 3 days. I'm like, what the fuck? So what they did is they shaved her back leg and they put a little patch on.
That's where they put the
pain
IV.
pill. No.
Oh, the patch. I got you. Yep.
And I'm like, man, and she acts like she's tripping out. I was thinking of Hunter S. Thompson in Fear and Loathing.
Don't go that way. That's backcountry.
Oh, yeah. He's just bam, bam, bam. It just all over the place. She'd spaz out. She'd hide under the bed.
What's that Facebook meme? Ask the cat, have you seen my LSD? No, but have you seen the fucking dragons in the kitchen?
Exactly. So we decided to call and leave them a message. I'm going to remove this patch. And as I'm unwrapping it, mind you, I haven't looked at the paperwork. I look at it. It says fentanyl. So holy
Are you wearing gloves when you're doing this?
I did not. Well, I washed my hands shortly after that. But yeah, my cat was jacked up on, the Michael Jackson death drug.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's too old. So we got that off of her. She started straightening up that night. They called back. We actually had some anti-anxiety medicine already. That's also a pain med.
Mm-hmm.
We gave it to her. And I think today she's almost back to normal. Now, we did end up shutting the doors to that room that she wants to hide under that bed.
Yeah.
Forcing her to go somewhere else. So, but yeah, it was, as you know, expensive and
sure.
A little concerning because of her age.
Well, the only positive thing about getting teeth extracted from an animal is once they get past that initial pain, they turn into a new animal. Because much like us, when we have a bad tooth, we have headaches, we're in pain, we don't want to do anything. The only problem is dogs and cats, they don't express their feelings to us, or at least they don't know how. And so that bad tooth that the dentist found could have been bad for months. And so the animal has been living with that pain, not just you, but in broad strokes, for such a long time that once the bad tooth or teeth get removed, within a week or so, they're like a new animal. They'll start playing again. They'll start chasing stuff and using their mouth. I remember when Kennison got up there in age, we had to have like 5 taken out of him. Oof. And like a week later, he was like a brand new dog. He was playing again. He was happy, wagging his tail. And it makes you feel bad. It's like, well, how long were they in that pain for?
Exactly. We usually take her every 2 years to get her teeth checked, but this time we kind of waited an extra. And,
yeah, well, cats, you would think cats, if you're feeding them dry food especially, if they're on a dry food diet, you would think you wouldn't have to worry about it as much because those foods don't have the sugars in them and all the crap that human food have in it that causes our cavities.
Actually, we were told to limit the dry food.
Really?
Because it's like eating cereal. It's full of carbs.
Huh. But carbs don't cause cavities, do they?
No, but there's other stuff in there. She eats a lot of wet food, and that was because she was getting heavy.
Sure.
If you got a fat cat,
Hey! You
dog,
can't wait. Shame your animals. This is 2020.
How did
did
my
a cat
cat
get
get
so
so fat? It was the fucking dry food, right?
You know, it's funny. We were over at the Gyro and Chicken truck, the place I told you about, the best gyros in town, cooked by a
Is this the one
German
run
guy.
By the Kraut?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the Kraut wasn't
Gyros
there.
have sauerkraut on it?
This was a Saturday. It was his day off, and some lady was working, and she had some country station on. But it was like a Pandora version, and a boy named Sue came on, right?
Ah, that's a good one.
And I'm sitting there singing every word, yada, yada, yada. And after the song ends, she's like, you know, I play this because this is the safest music I can find. I'm like, what are you talking about, ma'am? A boy named Sue? That's gender association. There's nothing wrong with a man who identifies as a woman and has the name of Sue. I'm going to go on Yelp and write a review, and no one is going to come here anymore. She started laughing. But yeah, we're at that point where I'm sure there will be some complaints about a boy named Sue, because there's absolutely nothing wrong with a boy named Sue.
It'll toughen him up.
But while we're on the subject of patch-based medical delivery devices, have you
Yes.
seen the new, and apparently these have been around for a while.
Where's it at?
What's that?
Where's your drop? Oh, There
See,
you
the
go.
volume's not. See, each and every one of these, the volume gets adjusted on it, and they don't.
there we go.
They've been around for a while, but have you seen the commercial for the new patch-based insulin delivery system for people with
I
type
have,
1 and type 2
actually.
diabetic? I saw the commercial last night. What's up, Morgan Long? Checking in OG5 Facebook. What's up, YouTube? And shout out to you, those of you hanging out over on YouTube. We get lots of views from our fine people over YouTube and Periscope as well, but I digress. So last night, I've seen it a few times, but last night we were watching it again, and I told Carrie, I'm like, do you think there's a needle on the back of that thing?
No, it's just, absorption is one of the major ways drugs and anything can get into the system.
Because you would think a needle stuck in your skin all day long would become irritable, right? Unless they inject unless there's some Novocaine type substance in that insulin.
Yeah, I could be wrong.
You are wrong.
I really think.
Because I ran into a young lady at Lowe's today at the cashier counter. She had one right on the back of her arm.
Hey, is there a needle in that motherfucker?
I said, is that one of them there newfangled insulin delivery systems? She said, yes, it is. I said, does that thing got a needle on the back? She said, sure it does. I'm like, doesn't that hurt? She goes, no, I can't feel it. I can. And she starts smacking it and jiggling up and down. And you still have a fucking needle in your skin. And what, for 2 or 3 weeks, I assume? Unless they mix some sort of Novocaine numbing solution in there, how does the skin not get irritated with having a needle stuck in it all the time?
Unless it's really small. I don't know.
Unless those diabetics are just so goddamn used to getting stuck with needles, they don't feel it.
That very, very well could be.
So if you're listening to this and you wear one, you have one, or a friend or family member does, you're trying to tell me having a needle embedded in your skin. I mean, I don't even like having a splinter in my skin for an hour, let alone, I mean, how small of a needle can this thing be? I mean, even the smallest of splinter hurts. It's at least irritable on a good day. So it's just confusing to me how having a needle embedded in your arm, especially in this part back here. I mean, I'm squeezing right now. It doesn't exactly not hurt.
Evidently gives Amanda the heebies.
Well, it gives me the heebies and the jeebies. I mean, after all, who
Yeah, y'all
can you
cheaping
have
out
the
on the
heebies
jeebies.
without the jeebies? Who gives the heebies without the jeebies?
That's a good question.
I don't know. But yeah, so if you have one of those, be honest, man. You don't have to be a tough guy. You can write in anonymous if you're scared that we're going to make fun of you because you feel pain. Because once again, I can't imagine that there's no pain involved with that whatsoever. There's got to be a little bit of an irritant, unless, once again, there's some sort of, anti-pain thing stuck into it.
So speaking of diabetes and me trying to avoid going that way.
Halloween?
No,
Oh, okay.
I was good.
That's a good
you know
segue,
what?
too.
And this is actually, this is good. Saturday was Halloween, and as we know, I'm on my no sugar, no grains. Well, as we also know, I'm sorry, ripping off the Band-Aid's one thing, but you're going to slip here and there, and we slipped with a candy bar on Saturday. It tasted
Well, it's
like
better than slipping with scissors in your hand.
Yes, it tasted like garbage. And that was just a chocolate Hershey. And then we slipped on Sunday. Sunday we kind of made a cheat day. But what's good about the cheat day, let's see, I had a what did I have? Sausage egg McMuffin. No, sausage egg biscuit.
Don't you have a fucking bagel store around there?
Oh yeah, but we just wanted something cheap. And
because you can
it
get any
tastes like
sausage
shit.
egg and yeah, exactly.
So-
it's fucking McDonald's. It's styrofoam
Well, no.
egg on a freaking plant-based sausage.
What it just when we tasted it and we had the hash browns, what I'm kind of glad we did it was because we both looked at each other and said, "Yeah, I don't miss this." So it was a nice test a little over 2 weeks in to say, "Yeah, no."
Well, I will say it is good practice to go to McDonald's once every 8 months just to remind yourself why you stopped going to McDonald's in the first place.
Especially when you pay almost the same prices as a nice sit-down restaurant.
I'm telling you, you think it's what is it about? It's Carrie and I used to tell you this, and a few years ago before the prices went up, that there's a nice borderline. 2 people, it's cheaper than eating at home. But once you add that third person, it's cheaper to cook food at home. But now that food has gone up, yeah, you go to McDonald's, you get 2 combo meals, you're in it for like $23.
And yes, Morgan is right. At least McDonald's moves out quickly.
Yeah, that's true.
So almost not as fast as Taco. Although you know what? So everybody talks about Taco Bell and how it
Toxic
just goes
hell?
right through you. I've never had that problem. I don't know if I just got.
That's because we grew up off of White Castles. So I mean, if you can handle a White Castle, you
that's
can
the
handle
one
a
thing I
Taco
do
Bell.
miss. Anyway, so I put up a video on Analog 410 yesterday.
I saw it. And I
I'm
shared
on a
it.
weekly. I'm on a weekly thing, so it's working.
I shared it
But one
earlier.
thing I have to say is, if you don't pick a thumbnail, and I actually tried, but it was too large of a thumbnail. It was 2 megabytes, so then I tried to edit it down on my editing program that came with Windows. For some reason, it wouldn't save. I was like, fuck it, I'll let it pick whatever. It always picks the most god awful thumbnails randomly out of your video.
Yeah, that's why I don't always do it if I'm in a hurry, but a majority of mine, you'll see some half-ass thumbnail with some cheap fonts written on it and shit. But yeah, I do that. I do that as well. And
And I was thinking about it. I was like, well, you know what? When I've paused,
you're like going,
the dude.
ah! You're like doing jazz hands.
When I've paused the DVR, every actor looks fucking silly.
Mm-hmm.
So I get it. It's just a random spot, but man, it just
Yeah,
jazz hands in a tank top. Yeah, like
Yeah,
anybody would see that.
it's pretty bad. So what did you do for All Hallows Eve?
All Hallows Eve, we waited here. Now, typically, our house, our neighborhood does not normally get but like 2 or 3 groups of people, kids. So we'll do the first hour, and then we'll bug out and go to the in-laws' house, who usually just get swamped. It was a bust there also. So my nephew,
What are we
6-year-old, got awarded by us dumping everything, all the good stuff too, all the nerds, all the Skittles, everything into his bucket. We come back, and then 2 more groups of kids came by, and we got full decorations, full lights on, so we're false advertising at this point. I said, man, I apologize.
Here's a 20 for you. Here's a 20 for you.
We had one group come through, and we bugged out and went somewhere else to get rid of it. I'm sorry, guys, and then we just kind of shut all the lights off.
Well, you know, obviously we own our house now, but the house that we live in now, all the neighborhoods out here in the Northwest Cape, and we've rented a bunch of houses out here, all these neighborhoods are underdeveloped. So it makes no sense with the fact that Halloween trick-or-treat's like, what, 2 hours nowadays? Maybe 3?
No, you're not. Wait, you're not picking on the homes as in underdeveloped, are you?
No, the underdeveloped neighborhoods, meaning it makes no sense a kid would walk down a half a mile street and there's only 6 houses on the whole damn street because it's all empty lots. And so
So it's a preemie neighborhood.
So even on the street I'm on now, we got more houses, but there's still 6 empty lots. And the next street over is the same. And so you're not getting your money's worth. And so no one ever goes trick-or-treating in this neighborhood. They usually find friends and families of people who live in the gated communities where those are the type of places that the kids get candy and they hand out bottles of wine and beer to the adults, which is where we've taken Nugget for the last 2 years. But she has braces now. She got her grill did. And when you get your grill did, you're not supposed to have candy. Now, she lied to us, said, well, you know, the orthodontist told me you're going to have M&Ms. As soon as she got them, in the very first day, she fucking broke one off. Imagine that. So
That'll learn you.
So, yeah. And so, holy shit. Morgan Long said he had about 200 here in the villas. Sounds like a gated community to me. So anyhow, we decided there's no reason to take her out trick-or-treating because she can't have the candy. And she's like, well, the orthodontist said I can have Reese cups because they're soft. I'm like, yeah, but maybe 1 out of every 18 houses, maybe 2 out of every 18 houses is going to give you a Reese cup. And then what are you going to do with all that candy? To which she's promptly said, well, you guys can have it. Like, no, we don't want it. We're trying to watch our weight.
Go give it to your cousins.
So we got invited to a Halloween party. And so we told her, hey, Halloween party's at 9 o'clock. You know, we got to do all our makeup. We don't want to go walk around 90-degree weather, sweat all the makeup off, and then go to a Halloween party, especially considering you can't eat 92% of the candy you get. So why don't we just go out and buy you a pack of Reese's Cups and Hershey's bars, and then we'll go to the Halloween party. So that's what we did. We bought her some Reese's and some Hershey's, and then we went to the Halloween party. But this, talking about expensive. Long are the days of going down to Kmart and buying the plastic fucking apron and the plastic Casper the Friendly Ghost mask for $2.38. Everything now is generic and licensed, especially if it's not generic and licensed. The average costume at Spirit Halloween store is between $39 and $50.
Let me tell you about Spirit Halloween store. I just had it. So Thursday night, I'm laying in bed and it's 9:15. I got to get up super early, like always, like before 5 o'clock. I'm like, oh fuck! I did not get my costume for the luncheon tomorrow at work. Katina, she had the week off. We gotta go to the Halloween store. So we went down to the Halloween store, and I went with the old school Freddy Krueger mask that you pull over, the glove, which I wish I had as a kid. That was awesome, and the sweater. $80 goddamn later.
Mm-hmm.
For something I may wear once, maybe twice.
Okay, we got a discrepancy here.
Discrepancy.
So Morgan Long says he had 200 people in the villas. Apparently the What's in Your Head podcast is huge in the villas. Amanda says over by the villas elementary school, she only had 10.
That's Lori, actually.
Oh, Lori, yeah, I'm sorry. Amanda's above that. So Lori, who's also in the villas, only had 10. So apparently the kids are spooked from the elementary school, or somebody is not telling the truth. One of the two. Not pointing any elbows. I don't think Morgan Long would lie to us, but, you know, he's been known to thread a yarn or two, you know. But anyhow. Yeah, so Carrie's like, what are we going to be for Halloween? She wanted to do the matching couples thing, and what I was fine with, and we were toying around with doing the grease thing and this and that.
Jesus, everybody's doing that this year.
I know, but we got, I said, look, I got my Captain America thing I did like 4 years ago. That's one less costume to buy. That'll save us $50. So why don't you buy something and Nugget buy something? And so we went out and she looked around. She couldn't find anything she wanted, and we bought Nugget's costume, and she had this great idea. Have you watched Schitt's Creek?
That is actually my better half's one of her favorite shows.
Well, tell her this after the show. Won't mean anything to you. Carrie got the idea that she is going to dress up like Moya Rose's character in The Crows Have Eyes Part 3, which is
not 1, not 2,
but Part 3, which
3,
is
the one that everybody forgets about, probably,
which is
right?
basically a white lab coat with crow feathers glued to the shoulders, a black wig, and a thing on the nose. And so she went on Amazon. The coat cost like $12, $18. No, $15. The feathers cost $5. Problem solved. So, you know, you're in it for $20. We dropped like 70, or no, with between Nuggets, her thing, her wig, and her makeup, it was like almost $65, $70. While I was walking around Spirit Store, I saw this BioShock Splicer mask. It was like $15. I'm like, okay, clearly this thing's, they only had one left. Like, this thing's probably overstocked from 8 years ago, because no one knows what BioShock is anymore. Turn around, copyright 2020. Later did I find out they're making a part 4. It's coming out soon. I was like, fine, I'll just buy this. I'll go to the thrift store. Actually, I'll wear my wool trousers for my World War II stuff, but I decided I didn't want to mess them up. I went to the thrift store. I got like $4 pants, a $3 shirt, and like some $5 shoes. So I'm still in it for cheap, right? Goal still accomplished. It's better than buying 5 costumes at $49, $50, $60 a piece. And we went
payment later.
We went over to Carrie's brother's house for dinner or something. I think we were having, Rusty made a bunch of ham like he always does. We went over there and had ham, black beans, and rice, and the green beans as we discussed last week, which confused us all. And Carrie was talking to them about doing her Moya Rose Schitt's Creek costume, and no one there had seen that show. And she's like, shit, I don't want to go to this costume party wearing a costume, looking like a freak. Turns out all these girls have changed their mind of what they're going to be. Now they're doing the sexy nurse and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, I don't want to show up there and being some ugly old lady in a freaking lab coat with feathers on her head. No one knows from the show. I'm like, you kidding? That show won like 9 Emmys. Somebody's going to know who it is. But she didn't want to do that. So we went back to Party City, and she was looking at some Overwatch costumes. And there was a few of them, and one of them was the character she plays on Overwatch all the time. But she's like, I don't want to do Overwatch because once again, no one's going to know what it is. I said, well, I'm wearing a freaking costume from a video game that was out 10 years ago. Don't worry about it. And she decided she didn't want to do that. She found this cute scarecrow costume, and she bought that, and everything was cool. So we do our makeup. I actually got some spray paint, which increased the value of my costume a little bit more, but I'm still below the $40 I would have spent if I would have bought an unoriginal, full-fledged. Go to youtube.com, go to Digital 410. You can see the video of how I created that costume. I think I looked fucking awesome, by the way, but that's just me. Go to the costume party. We're there. Her brother's there. It's her other brother. 2 people walk in wearing Overwatch costumes. I was like, aha! I told you. Somebody would know who Overwatch is. But I was wrong. I went over to these 2 people I never met before. I said, hey, my old lady's here. Dressed up as a scarecrow. I told her to dress up as Merci from Overwatch. Somebody here would know. And they looked at me blank in the face. And Carrie came over and said, do you guys play Overwatch or do you just wear the costume? And the girl said,
that card, did she?
The girl said, no, I just thought the costume was cute and he bought one to match. So she was right. No one there played Overwatch but her, or even the people wearing Overwatch costumes. And so they had a costume contest. Some of the categories were the most obscene, the goriest, the most obscure. And much like always, it's a family party. It's the host friends who are all there. We didn't know anybody except for the 2 people we knew left early. And even though I had more blood on me than anybody else in the room, except for 2 people who showed up wearing some half-ass, put-together, purged costumes, or Ninth House on the left. It was basically a small smiley face mask with a white shirt with blood handprints on it. Very amateurishly done, might I add. They won the most gory contest. They won. We didn't win shit, even though we had the best costumes there. But I guess that's just me being a little, I don't know, jaded. But it was a good time for all. Got home at 1 o'clock. Now, earlier you're saying you had a cheat weekend.
Just a cheat day. Well, a day and 1 week. Yeah.
I had a cheat weekend. Friday night, we ordered Pizza Hut.
No, fuck. I'm sorry.
Ate pizza.
Did you at least
sticks.
go with the thin crust? Or
I got Nugget the thin crust for her braces, but Carrie and I said we're going to be fat and we're not going to give a fuck. Which carried over to
coming up too, don't you?
Which carried over to 2 a.m. when I was eating more pizza.
Which is funny because I was online at about 10 to 11 o'clock. I logged off my time. And when I logged on at 9:30, I was like, I'll text Dawn and see if he wants to play some COD, which has been run with the fucking pumpkin.
Cash on delivery.
And I was like, nah, he's probably not. I haven't heard from him today. And lo and behold, I'm getting texts. I'm like, holy crap, he's still up.
Yeah, I was texting you some TikToks probably.
Yeah, you're getting as bad as these political texts
Yeah, right.
with your TikTok.
But yes, I have a race coming up. That's why I'm drinking Gatorade Zero instead of the beer. Usually I'm drinking a Miller Lite right now. And I did have my fat weekend. But today, the only thing I had to eat today was a Boar's Head Sausalito turkey sandwich made at home. Not the big...
Is that the only meat you eat? That's lunch meat?
Well, it's either that or like freaking Oscar Mayer or Publix brand. A Boar's Head is like the premium at Publix.
No. The Sausalito part.
Sausalito, I eat that a lot when I doing the no carb stuff. Sometimes I'll get the Cajun turkey. I'll get the ham. But Carrie's a turkey fan, and so it's just easier, and it's spicy. It's very yummy. But I had a sandwich for lunch. No, I take that back. I had nothing for lunch.
You get nothing.
I had an overpriced Starbucks coffee at 10 a.m., went all day long, ate nothing. Then we went to the store, bought said turkey, and I had a sandwich for dinner, went to the gym, had a muscle milk and a Gatorade. That's all I've eaten so far today. I ran 2 miles last night, but I'm minimizing my runs and my workout to prevent injury because I do have a run that Savage race in 14 days.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to cut off some weight. I'm still hovering around 219. I'd like to cut off 8 pounds in 2 weeks. I don't think it'll happen, but I'm going to give it my best damn try. And I have a World War II event coming up this weekend.
Go NSNG for a week, and you may cut that right off.
Yeah, the no sugar part just is what kills me.
Yeah, I thought it actually. I got myself in the headspace, and that seemed to work. I do use heavy whipping cream in my coffee.
I buy heavy whipping cream for the pumpkin pie I bought tonight.
Put some in your coffee.
Bought pumpkin pie.
Holy crap!
Yep.
But yeah, no, fuck. I was looking at the costume I was looking for, and I forget the character's name. I kind of remember it, but it's off of the. It's off of the Umbrella Academy.
Okay.
You know those assassins with their funny plastic masks?
Yeah.
That's what I was looking for, the big guy.
Oh, those
Yeah.
things would have cost you a small fortune if you would have found one.
Yes, they
With
would.
licensing
I
fee
think that would have
alone.
been perfect.
Yep.
Yeah.
I want
What
to read
else
this.
going on?
Well, I want to read the story for the automotive aficionados, but fucking Yahoo has the world's largest photos and advertisements. They have 2 lines, and then I'm scrolling, big blank area. So it's going to be a very poorly read article because of the amount of scrolling involved, because the Yahoo Auto is such a whore for advertisement. For you Ford fans out there,
That's just Don saying you can't read. Yeah, anyway.
well, we all know I can't read, but anyhow, Ford is pouring a significant amount of money into the development of an electric powertrains, but is not ready to co-sign. I'm sorry, Ford is pouring. See, you said I couldn't read. Ford is pouring significant amounts of money into the development of electric powertrains, but is not ready to consign internal combustion technology to the pantheon of the automotive history yet. That's a fancy way of saying they're working on electric, but they're still working on internal combustion engines.
Yeah, they're not to put that in, ready to put that fucker in the dumpster.
Yep. Speaking at a press conference, union leader Jerry Diaz revealed a 6.8-liter engine that's 415 cubic inches will be manufactured north of the border.
Can I guess what that's going to go into?
Hold on. What's your guess?
Ford Raptor, because they're going to get spanked by the new Dodge.
On the website, now see, this article is written as if this guy went rogue and announced this information without telling Ford, but it's all part of the publicity.
Oh, yeah. You got to leak it.
On its website, Unifor only refers to the engine as a 6X liter unit and does not clarify the cylinder count. We've seen 6.8 liter V10s before, and it was called the Triton, and it's notably the E-Series and the Super Duty, but it's not too far-fetched to speculate the engine Diaz was referring to as a V8. Nothing official at this point, but union leaders' comments have sent the rumor mill spinning at speeds normally reserved for superbike engines. Haha! That's Yahoo writing for you. Enthusiast website Muscle Car and Truck speculates that the 6.8 liter could be related to the 7.3 liter Godzilla pushrod V8 pictured above, which is available in the F-Series Super Duty and is also built in Windsor, Canada. It adds that the 6.8 might be the powertrain for the next Mustang that is widely expected to make its debut by the end of 2022. If that's accurate, the engine will likely end up the highest performance variant like the GT500. It could also make its way into the 14th generation F-150 line, i.e. the Raptor. Remember, unverified rumors claim that the next generation Raptor will put out over 700 horsepower under the driver's right foot in a bid to upone the new Ram 1500. Scroll down.
Scroll.
Haggerty offers a similar hypothesis. It claims that the 6.8 will be a de-stroked version of the 7.3 and will be built out of aluminum instead of iron. It added the net weight will keep the bigger unit overhead valve layout. Ford's keeping its lips sealed, however, so we'll need to be patient and find out exactly what the plan is for the engine built in Windsor. So that looks like a sneak peek for you Ford Raptor fans and potentially Mustang fans coming up in the near future.
I tell you what, I am a Raptor fan. Obviously, it's out of my my realm right now, unless I sell that condo. But when they replaced that 8-cylinder with the 6 turbocharged, I'm sorry, it just ruined it. And I'm sorry, it's more the sound than anything.
Yeah.
People like that. I know somebody who's got a Roush tuned Raptor, and that thing is just beautiful.
How did you like that TikTok I sent you the other day of the guy who did the LS Corvette swap on the Subaru?
I don't think I watched it.
Oh, see, you gotta say.
I told you were getting to be like these campaign texts, man. After a while, I was like, Jesus, I can't keep up. And sometimes I think when I get text a TikTok video, it doesn't take me straight to the video you intend on sending me.
Interesting. I don't know how that would
That
happen.
that could just be me. But I'll see like a random one, and then yours will pop up after it.
What's your biggest automotive pet peeve when it comes to your car and other people?
Door dings.
Yeah, I can see that, but my biggest pet peeve of the non-damage variety, don't fuck with my AC vents. I hate when a passenger gets into your car and get
And
a
shuts all the
bit
ones
chilly and either shuts them or rotates them up and then gets out of the car and leaves them be. And so the next time you're in the car and you look over, you're trying to drive down the street. And now that I have a Tundra, it's even harder. And lean over because I like to have my left one like this, my right one like that on both sides. So that one, they're symmetrical, and two, they're shooting the air the same direction. I don't want these two like this and this one like this and that one's closed down.
Doesn't your fancy schmancy Tundra have dual zone climate control?
It does, but I'm talking about they either shut the damn thing or they spin them so they're shooting at the ceiling and down at the floor. I like them all to be symmetrical and facing the same way, much like when I was doing a work job the other day and I had my daughter's boyfriend running wire and he put a blank faceplate back on, and when he was done I said, hey, the next time you put one of those on, make sure the screw slots are all the same direction. If one's vertical, they're all vertical. If one's horizontal, they're all horizontal. They don't go all different ways.
As an electrician, if it is a vertically mounted deal, I like them going vertical.
Well, either way, he had one this way, one this way. I just told him make sure they're all line going the same direction. It looks cleaner. But yeah,
I think I'm actually more anal with those damn screws than you are. That's
Dad does
insane.
it to me all the time in my goddamn truck. He gets in there and he starts fidgeting with my AC vents and spinning them in circles and closing them.
Hey, I'm gonna unsync this. You just fuck with the goddamn dial
Yeah,
right here.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
all you need to do. Just adjust it
Turn
to
off
your
sync.
comfort
You
level.
got your own little knobby. If you're a little chilly, you can turn on the heat seat. That's my other complaint about my truck. Someone turns on the heat seat, the heat seater, the seat heater.
Well, you had to do the same fucking thing.
It doesn't turn off. Like when you turn the car off and you turn it back on, it turns back on.
Same here.
Why don't
Then
that shit reset when you turn
I
your
don't
car
know.
off?
They're all probably made by the same people, and by the way, your car company owns 16% of the ones I use. So
Yeah.
it's probably all the same parts, Ben.
Yeah.
Is it just a little switch?
It's a
Or
push
rockets?
button. Boop, boop,
Oh,
boop,
you're
boop, boop.
bougie.
Well, it has 3 levels.
Ah.
You hit the first one, it's primarily the lower back. You hit it again, it's the middle back, and then all 3 of them. But Carrie would like it if you could start at the top and work your way down, but that's not an option.
I've been told, well, in Vegas, the seat heaters are kind of pointless. It's like, not when you got a bad back.
Not when you got your AC set to 66.
Cold up front, warm in the back.
While we're on the automotive thing, I saw a Tesla the other day with Minneapolis plates on it, Minnesota. They're from Minnesota.
Oh, jeez.
And I got to thinking, we do have a Tesla dealership around here. And I know down in Nepal, or Naples, if you will, I think there's one public parking lot with Tesla charging stations. But I got to thinking, if you're in a Tesla and you're using their equivalent of Google Maps, can you map your route based on charging stations?
Yes, you can.
Because how far out of the way do you have to go when driving to Southwest Florida from Minneapolis, Minnesota? Because I have driven up 75 to Kentucky many times, and I can't tell you of one gas station right off the interstate without driving 5 miles that have Tesla charging stations. So I'm wondering.
Generally, they're going to be off the freeway, and they're not going to be at a gas station as much as like a mall that has restaurants and shit.
Yeah, but most malls
it takes about an hour.
Yeah, exactly.
So you want to pull in. It's 45 minutes to really do the supercharge. Go grab yourself a bite to eat. Come back out. Bob's your uncle. You're out the.
That's a long drive from Minnesota, having to wait for your car to charge. And what's the mileage on those things?
A lot of them can get 300 to 400 miles.
Yeah, that ain't bad.
No, it's not bad. You're probably stopping just as much as you would for fuel.
Yeah, but when I stop for fuel, I don't have to wait an hour for my damn car to fill up. I pee, eat, and on the road in 15 minutes.
Yeah, but you know what's nice is if you charge it at home, even though Tesla charges you, it's still cheaper than paying for gas.
Well, I'm sure it is, but I'm just saying when it comes to like driving from here to Kentucky, it's a 17-hour drive.
Mhm.
And that's not including hour-long fill-up stops. And now it's what, 20, 30-hour drive? So but
if you're driving a Tesla, you're most likely not going to just stop at the White Castles or the Awful Waffle. You're probably going to stop somewhere kind of nice to eat.
Mm-hmm.
That's my thought.
I wouldn't
could be
know.
wrong.
I'm not in the tax bracket for a used Tesla, let alone a brand new one.
Well, used ones, I think are about $40,000 now.
Now, I know your lady is a Christmas fan.
Along with Mickey Mouse, yes.
How long? Do you have your Christmas tree up yet?
No, we just took down our Halloween stuff this weekend. I'm actually still not allowed to lift more than 10 pounds.
Lucky you.
Well, it's because of the leg thing.
Yeah,
That's
no,
why
I gotta
today's
get-
my first day to back to walking, but it's a great excuse. But no, we won't put it up until day after Thanksgiving. Although I have a feeling this year, because she wants a sense of normalcy, that it's gonna go up a little.
Carrie's talking about doing it this weekend. But we know that you can't teach religion in school. And we know for
You can't teach history in school either.
that
apparently.
too, and we know for quite a while the Christmas has been getting the big poo-poo from pop culture, if you will, to the point now where you're supposed to say Happy Merry Holidays. Carrie was talking yesterday how Christmas wouldn't be so bad if it didn't have to buy gifts. She just likes the decorating and the family. And Nugget was laying on the floor, zoned off on her phone, and I said, well, that's okay. We'll just all agree no gifts this year, right, Nugget? She wasn't paying attention, and I was like, right, Nugget? She said, huh? I said, just said yes. And she's like, no. I'm like, just say yes. And she's like, no, what am I saying yes to? I said, you just agreed that there's no Christmas presents this year. She's like, no,
I didn't agree to nothing.
no, I didn't. I said, sure. No, that's not the spirit. I said, well, gee, you don't know the spirit of Christmas. Yes, I do. That's exactly what the spirit of Christmas is. And I tried to tell her the
So
story.
the spirit of Christmas is gifts for me.
Gifts in general. That's the whole reason we have Christmas. That's why Christmas exists. And I tried to jokingly break in with the story that our grandmother used to tell us that, at least in the later 90s, that she was shopping one year and she was online and they were kind of, and this is back in the 90s, years ago, talking about how Christmas has gotten commercialized and it's all about the presents and how, you know, you start off the year going in debt, yada, yada, yada. And this lady,
She hated Xmas too.
and the lady in front of her in line says, well, that's why I tell my kids, if Jesus only got one present per visitor, why should you have more than Jesus? Which I didn't get the opportunity to tell that story to Nugget because she was talking over me. And I said, why do we celebrate Christmas? She's like, so that you can gather around families and get presents. I'm like, no, what is the reason that Christmas exists? That
Where
is the reason.
What the definition of Christmas?
That
word
is the
itself.
reason. I
Reason
said, no,
versus-
the reason we celebrate Christmas is it was Jesus' birthday. No, it wasn't. That's not. They don't teach this shit in school anymore, Gordon. You had the same look Carrie and I looked at each other like, holy fuck.
And she's a teacher.
Well, Nugget's 13. She's only been with us for the last 4 years, and apparently in the last 4 years we haven't talked about the birth of Christ because we don't go to church all that much. But you just assume for the first 11 years of her life someone would have. But since they don't talk about it in school,
But she comes from a Hispanic family, right? And they're most of the time,
No.
Hispanic families are Catholic, and
she wasn't around that
pretty-
family since early in her. Spent a lot of time in
that
foster
sucks.
care. But apparently foster parents don't teach that shit either. So I said, apparently this Christmas you need to get some education. I almost called you and was just going to say, Gordon, why do we celebrate Christmas? Because she thinks we're lying. She thought we
what
made
would
up
you
the
do
whole...
if I said to get presents?
Gee, thanks. But yeah. And I'm sure she's not the only one, clearly.
Oh, no,
I'm
she's
sure
one of
there's
them
a
all.
great swath of young elementary, middle school age kids out there who think the whole reason we celebrate Christmas is for the express purpose of spending time with family and giving
Well,
gifts.
doesn't that go hand in hand? And you might as well go ahead and play it.
Oh, dude. Which one? The good one or the one that annoys you?
The good one.
Hi, my name is Tom McDonald. Welcome to the show. If you are easily offended, then you probably should go.
with the mentality that the young adults seem to have today, that they want everything given to them by the government and be taken care of.
It could.
It seems to
He
be
did
at least
it
the
again.
tip of that.
Cause trouble, hurt someone's feelings. Yet he didn't want to do it. Yes, troublesome people are often people in trouble. They may be mentally ill. Find out how you can help. Write Better Mental Health, Box 3000, New York 1, New York.
I'm glad that place really doesn't exist anymore.
Right? But no, it's a good hypothesis. Amanda said her son thinks the same. So I wonder, is that an indictment on our parenting skills? Maybe we maybe we all here at the OG5 should pledge right here on this episode season 2, episode 37, I think, that we are going to educate our kids on why we celebrate Christmas. It's not just about watching the Christmas Story, getting gifts, and spending time with the family.
And you might as well explain about Hanukkah and Mr. Hanky while you're at it.
Well, when I was explaining to her Easter, around Easter time, it's the first time I had actually seen it because we didn't have HBO for a long time. We sat there, and she did watch, subtitles and all, Passion of the Christ. And so
I have yet to see that.
She learned in very high definition, bloody detail, subtitles and all, what the purpose of Easter is. But yeah, maybe this year for Christmas we'll go to church.
You're a guy who appreciates military history and war stories. Did you have a chance to check out The Hornet's Nest?
I watched the first 45 minutes last night, but then when 1:15 a.m. this morning rolled around, I had to turn it off. I'm going to watch it tonight.
Pretty intense.
But first, I got to go back to work. Let me tell you why.
You know what pisses me off in this life, huh? You know what makes me mad? It's the goddamn software tech support. You got many types of tech support. You got phone tech support. You got email tech support. You got chat tech support. And none of them are worth a shit. But what I want to know is, if you're reading self-help documentation from your website without any formal training, then how in the hell can you be a software tech support, huh?
You want to hear something funny?
After I tell you. What's that?
I was just listening to the Dead Milkmen before we came on.
Well,
I haven't listened to them in a year.
I was trying to pay my Florida State sales tax last week. Now I'm late. Which really isn't a huge deal because we're not vendors. We don't buy a lot of stuff at wholesale and pay it. Usually it's, a couple $100 a month. No big deal because, once again, I don't have a retail store, so I don't have to pay a lot of sales. I'm not selling items and marking them up. But in order to do this, you got to dump your reports through QuickBooks, right?
Right.
And so last week I logged into QuickBooks, hit payroll, the payroll section, and it starts spitting out these errors. The last payroll update didn't install properly. You need to install it. You hit OK. 2 seconds later, it comes up. You hit OK. Because what it's doing is, in order to pull up all those files, it's digging through the database. And every time it gets to a part of the database that needs an information, it spits up that error. So you hit enter 38 times, and a box comes up, says searching, and pops up. You hit it, and blah, 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 blah. Long story short, I get that to close, go into employee, payroll update, downloads the update, 100% gives an error. Payroll update did not successfully install, yada, yada, yada. Well, it's an older version of QuickBooks. I've learned from past to go download a newer version of that newer install file of that older version of QuickBooks. So I uninstall QuickBooks, download a new install file of that older version of QuickBooks, reinstall it, open it up, download the QuickBooks updates, go back in there, download the payroll tax update, same issue. Worked on it for 2 days and the weekend came. Started up today, went on a job, heading out to a job, get a call, had to go do an emergency call, finish up that emergency call, get called by a client. Hey, I'm trying to do payroll, I'm getting this error. Fantastic. But at least this time I can call QuickBooks and get paid while doing it. So I go down there, and first and foremost, you can't call tech support anymore. You have to go into QuickBooks, go to help, and then request they call you. So they call 20 minutes later. Meanwhile, I'm working on other things at this place. Start talking to them, lose connection. Now I'm on my cell phone, but right behind me is one of those fancy T-Mobile range extenders for places that don't get good signal inside their buildings. So not my cell phone, but hey, this time we'll give the company's landline. Go in there, hit a request call back. 15 minutes later, the phone call. So now I'm already 45 minutes into this and got nowhere. Yada, yada, yada. Talk to him. Long story short about goddamn tech support, I always tell these people, hey, I'm an IT guy. I'm not your general run-of-the-mill asshole calling you up who doesn't know what they're doing.
I'm an IT asshole.
I had this same problem on another computer at another location with a different company file. I've already done all these steps. I've already uninstalled it. When you uninstall it and reinstall, what happens is it gets rid of the loop. But once you go to download the update, it gives you this here. Okay, well, what we need to do is first we need to go into add and remove programs, go change, and try to do a repair. Do that.
It's just reading off the list.
Now we got to, hence the song. Now we got to try to do a company file repair. There's nothing wrong with the company file. We can log in from the other computers. Okay. Long story short, because it was very long for fucking me and I almost lost my voice. 3.5 hours later, what we need to do now is reinstall QuickBooks. Okay, sir, I'm going to reinstall, but here's exactly what's going to happen. We reinstalled QuickBooks, opened it up, downloaded the updates, went to Employee Payroll Center, downloaded that, boom, right in front of the customer. Like I said, 3.5 hours fucking earlier, the exact same message verbatim. Okay.
Tilt.
Okay, sir, I'm going to have to call my back-end tech support, and I'll call you later.
Why the F couldn't you just...
While
I do the same thing with the cable.
While they're on speakerphone and all this shit's waiting to install, I'm telling the customer, you know, the hardest part about all this stuff, being an IT guy, is they don't make a number for people like me to call who have already tried all this shit because we've been doing this for 19 years.
A professional support line?
A professional support line where we can skip all the general. And I said, funny thing is, at your old location 5.5 years ago, I spent 3 hours on the phone with the QuickBooks guy, and at the end he said, hey, let me send you the link to our website, see if we missed anything. You mean that was an option 3 hours ago, that I could have skipped all the stuff that I've already done, but I have to do it in order to follow your fucking flow chart? It's so goddamn annoying. And then I told her about what we experienced here at the Digital 410 Network. I said, I called up Comcast. I said, hey, Comcast, I can't get to my own website from my house. Every time I record a podcast, I got to connect my laptop to my cell phone hotspot and upload an 1.5 hour long, 2 hour long podcast, which takes forever, by the way, because upload speeds on a cell phone suck. And I've called my web host. They're not blocking my location. It's something wrong with your equipment. No, it's not. Let's troubleshoot it. Blah, 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 blah. 4 hours, 5 phone calls later. 4 days, 5 phone calls later. I finally get these assholes agree to send me new equipment. And guess what happens when I got the new equipment, Gordon? The problem went away. Just like I said it would. 5 days and 15 fucking phone calls earlier. But once again, they just treat me like I'm a regular general asshole who don't know anything instead of an IT asshole who's been down this path many times. And it's so frustrating. And as the song implies, these guys aren't tech support people, just like your fucking mortgage broker isn't a customer advocate.
Oh, yeah, customer advocate. Yes, that's what ours was considered, too. When I ever have tech problems and I've got to call the local cable company, Cox or whatever, the first thing I say is, okay, this is what I've already done.
They don't care.
I've already rebooted. I've already stood on my head. Mm-hmm. I've already done the rain dance, and everything else. And sometimes it works. Sometimes, well, sir, I still got to go through these steps. Dude, I just want to talk to somebody who knows what the fuck they're talking about.
And nowadays, asking for a tier 2 technician won't get you anywhere. They won't do that anymore. You got to go through the whole nonsense and go down the whole rigmarole. And
Can
it's
you just send me straight to the exclamations department? Because I'm going to yell at you in about 5 seconds.
My favorite is when we moved into this house, we had scheduled Comcast to come install. And I can talk shit about Comcast because I'm about ready to call and get rid of my cable and just keep the internet. But I'm going to wait until after tomorrow so I can have some local news, if you know what I mean. Or some Fox News, if you know what I mean. But when we were waiting for them to come install the cable here.
Now, how big of a window did he give you?
Well, I can understand the window because I'm an IT guy. And perfect example of why they give you windows. I had a 10 o'clock job this morning. I was on my way to 10 o'clock job when another customer called me whose entire system was down. Well, the scheduled job I had was a simple upgrade where I was going to ghost their hard drives to SSD drives to speed them up. This episode of the What's in Your Head podcast is brought to you by our friends at Act Computers. Act Computers has been providing IT solutions for all Southwest Florida since 2004, and they also handle all the annoying, long-waited tech support lines that make you want to smack your head against the wall. So instead of you calling tech support where you want to smack your head against the wall, outsource that service to us, and we'll take care of it. But give them a call at 239-283-1120 or go to act-capecoral.com, and right now they can help you out with two-form authentication, online backups, antivirus, plus much, much more. If you're living here in Southwest Florida, they can help you with computer breaks, fixes, laptop breaks, fixes, tablets, installation of fancy TVs, etc. So give them a call at 239-283-1120. But anyhow, and so the agreed, unspoken agreement all of our clients have is emergencies come first. You know, if I was going to Bob's house to install a printer and your system was down preventing you from doing business, you would hope that I would drop the printer job because that's not an emergency, come take care of your problem, and then go back to Bob. And so that's what I had to do. So I went, called them, say, hey, can I reschedule later this afternoon? That's fine. Not a big deal. Our stuff's working. This was simply a performance upgrade. Sure. So I went and took care of the first emergency. Then that's when I got the QuickBooks debacle 3.5 hours later. So if I would have said, hey, I'll be here at X time, but then, even if it was an emergency, let's say I just had a regular scheduled, hey, my QuickBooks is acting squirrely, and so I put them on a schedule. Well, now I'm stuck here for 3 hours. So that's kind of why you have a window, because of being in service, you never really know what you're walking into. There's been many times where I've gone to a job for a simple printer install, and then you get what we affectionately refer to as the why you were here's. While you're here, I need you to work on this, and this. And so that quick 35-minute scheduled printer install job turns into 2.5 hours of other work. And so that's why you kind of have to give people windows, because you really don't know what you're walking into.
Amanda's got an interesting comment on an issue she ran into.
Most of our programs, here we go. You want to read it or you want me to?
Yeah, she says, Amanda says, most of our programs at work require fingerprints for access. But for some reason, I kept saying I locked myself out. Our internal IT guy said that I put the password in wrong 3 times, so I locked myself out. It's a fingerprint. How do I put a password in wrong?
Stop putting super glue on your fingertips. Duh. Next question for the IT guy. Send your questions for the IT guy over at, you can text us your questions at 239-932-8676. Questions for the IT guy. If your fingerprint scanner is not working, stop putting super glue on your fingerprints. Problem solved.
Yeah, I didn't even read all of it.
Yeah.
That goes even longer. But yeah, no super glue on your fingertips. There you go. Hot tip of the day.
So, obviously, I grew up in the 90s. Marilyn Manson was big, so it's not uncommon. I'm not unused to seeing teenagers wearing fishnet stockings. Okay, that shit it was big in the 80s, and it came back in the late 90s when Nine Inch Nails, Ministry, and Marilyn Manson was really big.
An old hat.
But these new kids, man, I was at a store the other day. A girl walked in, had on jean shorts, some dorky comic book shirt, a pair of Nikes or Nike knockoffs, and fishnets.
Mm-hmm.
Fishnets usually you're wearing with boots, but whatever. And then we were somewhere else. I saw some kid wearing some other random outfit with something goofy, and I realized, you know what these young kids dress like? They're dressed like a Sims character where the avatar's clothing are on random. They have different color socks on. They got fishnets with gym shoes and they dress like they're an avatar whose wardrobe is on random. That's exactly what they dress like. It's like, holy shit, do you not look in the mirror?
Or a 4-year-old.
Yeah, that too. I let my 4-year-old dress himself today. Well, your kid's 17. Your kid's 15. They dress like avatars with the goddamn wardrobe on random, like on Sims. It's so
effing funny.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So nobody's there to say, hey, dude, you look ridiculous.
It does. I mean,
this is my truth.
I was watching your video on Analog 410 today. And I noticed something.
I said so a ton.
You're a right-handed watch guy. Is that because you're left-handed?
Tell him what he's won.
Well, I thought it was just
Yes.
the thing where dudes wear their watch on the left arms and chicks wear their watches on the right arms. I didn't know it was a writing thing. I mean, it would make sense if we're actually writing and you don't want to scratch your watch, but when's the last time you've written anything by hand?
I make notes all the
Or
time.
is it just more comfortable for you to look
because
like
I'm
that?
left-handed.
Yeah.
Did you notice how small our yards are here in Vegas?
I lived in Long Beach, California, so I'm used to small yards with cinder block fences around it. One more
Yep.
thing before we get to the news. Speaking of commercials, and I've noticed this one, and I point things out, and Carrie's tired of hearing my nonsense, and she don't think they're funny. Have you seen the
Just
new?
like everybody else out there who's got a podcast, right?
Yeah, right. Well, or people watching this shit. They're like, "You're not funny." That's why we're not watching. Have you seen this new drug commercial? It's a medicine for people with schizophrenia.
Hey, have you seen it? No, there's something. No, I haven't.
Chick's going to a park.
Okay.
She runs into Bob. Bob looks scared. What's the matter, Bob? Blah, blah, blah. Schizophrenia. Well, you know, Bob, people like us, we have problems with schizophrenia, but that's why you need to take this new Schizo Be Gone pill or whatever, right?
So you don't pull a knife on a cop and get shot, right?
And so they're looking around, and there's another lady in the same park looking over at a lady taking her kids out, and all of a sudden she's staring at her because she's having. And I look at Carrie, I'm like, where the fuck is this lady hanging out that you got 4 or 5 people in the same park all who are schizophrenics?
We can blame it on COVID.
Well, she's like, maybe they're at a hospital. I'm like, no, they're in a park. The kids are getting ready to play soccer, but for some reason, every adult in this park has schizophrenia.
We're all a bunch of schizos.
I guess. In the words ICP, schizophrenic, don't panic. You ready to do other news?
Yes, sir.
Let's see here. News and shit. News and shit. Here is time for some news and shit. News and shit. News and shit. Now here's Gordon with some news and shit.
Joining us now from the Digital 410 West News Desk in Las Vegas, Nevada, Gordon Abernathy.
Hey, Gordon, what's going on? This episode of the news is brought to you by our Patreon account. So head over to d-410.com, click on that Patreon account, and sign up for $1 a month. Thank you.
So, well, Governor Sisolak is getting sued again.
Good. All the governors should get sued. Fuck them all.
Oh, this is one that'll come from a different direction. And he's getting sued by a sex worker at a Nevada brothel.
Okay.
Because, a licensed sex worker operating out of a legal brothel in Lyon County is instituting illegal proceedings against one Governor Steve Sisolak over the governor's refusal to reopen the Silver State's legal bordellos amid the COVID-19 pandemic. So
You see, I have
the
a
legal
certain-
hoes have no income.
I have a certain lifestyle I have become accustomed to.
According to this press release,
I mean,
Alice
this bitch
Little,
is probably pulling in, at the expensive places, they're probably pulling in $1,000 or more a night.
now they got to go to Craigslist. Oh, wait, they can't do that anymore.
Backpage.com.
And it's probably a small town, so there's nothing around. Alice Little, who works at the Moonlight Bunny Ranch brothel. Remember the Moonlight Bunny Ranch from the famous
He died, didn't
HBO
he?
show.
Who's running
Yes,
that
he did
joint
die.
now?
I don't know who's running it now, but he died right after he was elected something or other over
that's
there
right.
in Nye County. Says that she's taking legal action because she believes the governor has unjustifiably, let's try that again, snubbing sex workers while allowing other high contract business or high
Why does it have to be a
contact
tongue twister?
businesses to reopen. I believe Nevada sex workers have been treated unfairly by the governor, according to Little. For months, businesses that involve close physical contacts, like tattoo shops and massage parlors, have been allowed to reopen while the legal brothels remain shuttered. It's if it's safe for a customer to get a massage at a massage parlor, then it should be safe for a customer to visit a legal sex worker. with
How much
COVID-19.
bodily fluids are exchanged during a massage?
Depends on the kind of massage.
Even with not to get too detailed, but for all you young kids who like that song WAP, even with protection on the man's junk, if you have a WAP involved, those fluids run down said protection and all over the man's twigs and berries. So even if he is wearing a condom and there's a WAP involved, there is still a transmission of fluids from skin to skin, where you don't have that when it comes to a normal above board massage.
Speaking of whale tails, because I'm sure that they wear thongs there, this is a different one. So this is in Dutch. There is a whale
In
tail
Dutch?
sculpture. Okay, so
In
imagine
Dutch?
two whale tails.
Is Dutch a country?
It is in the Netherlands.
Okay, you said this is in Dutch. You didn't say this
Well,
is
there
from the
was
Netherlands.
two of them, so therefore it was
Oh,
Dutch.
they went Dutch. I got
Okay.
you.
So this is really what a fluke. So a driver of a metro train escaped injury when the front carriage rammed through the end of an elevated section of rails and was caught by a sculpture of a whale's tail near the Dutch port city of Rotterdam. The train was left perched upon one of the two tail fins, known as flukes, thus the funny pun, several meters or yards above the ground. It created such a stir locally that authorities urged sightseers to stay away. There's nothing to see here, ma'am. Nothing to see. Adding that coronavirus restrictions were enforced. Get away. Don't pile up. We got coronavirus. Even so, some 50 people were at the scene late Monday morning as engineers tried to work out how to stabilize and then remove the train amid strengthening winds. So, yeah, it almost sounds like something you'd see in a bad comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Train goes off the tracks, and it's a sculpture of a whale tail that catches it.
Well, speaking of crazy accidents, there was a video on the old TikTok. Semi was sitting in traffic.
Mm-hmm.
Flatbed. Its cargo was nothing but probably 20, I don't know, however long your normal 18-wheeler flatbed is, what, 30 feet?
Yeah.
Just for sake of argument, let's just say 30 feet. It was probably 2-aught rebar stacked up about 4 feet, the whole length of the bed of this truck. The truck got rear-ended. The ratchet straps broke. All that rebar came forward, went through the sleeper cab of the truck, through the console, and through the firewall and into the engine block. And luckily, the width of it was just skinny enough that it did not hit the guy's legs or him. The driver was unscathed, but you open the door and you just see rebar from the back through the sleeper cab all the way into the engine block. Dude,
that's some
so damn lucky.
Shit right there.
Yeah, this is exactly what it is. And then I think the caption was, "As the driver calls and quits." But these,
so Orlando, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
There's a pregnant lady.
Morgan Long knows everything. He said 48 feet. This feet 1 apostrophe or 2. Maybe he said 48 inches. Maybe he's talking about something else. But no, 48.
1.
He said 48 feet, depending.
So, speaking of 48 feet, a pregnant woman in Florida. Well, she went into labor.
That happens when you're pregnant.
Yeah, but
not
she
sure why that's newsworthy.
But it was so important that it did not. She did not let her labor stop her from
Hold
casting.
Stop. Does this have anything to do with Star Wars and/or Harry Potter?
No.
Okay, because both those are attractions at Disneyland and Universal Studios. I know people do crazy shit to ride those rides. So go ahead.
It did not let her stop from casting her vote at the presidential election, refusing to go to the hospital until she filled out her ballot. Ballots can be long. This judge is running unopposed. Well, I'm not voting anything. This judge is running unopposed. I don't know who this is. I'm not voting anything.
No, you just scribble the very first box.
So
not the second box, the very first box. And you drop that shit in. I saw a great meme on Facebook or Twitter. It said, "I forgot to take a picture of me dropping my ballot into the drop box. Does my vote still count?" Because everybody's posting pictures of them doing that on fucking Facebook and Twitter. And when I was standing in line, because I voted last week, and our line was only 30 minutes, I was standing in line behind the big giant blue United States Postal Service box where the person's leaning, which incidentally, apparently there's a law in South Carolina where they're not allowed to have those, so there's no drop box. So I saw an interview with the congressman, you can guess which side, from South Carolina, saying that if Biden doesn't win, it's because of active voter suppression, but that's neither here nor there. And of course, they're taking pictures as they're dropping it in. It's like, when did this become a thing?
So not to sound like, God, you almost need to hit that again.
Hi, my name is Tom McDonald. Welcome to the show. If you are easily offended, then you probably should go.
Feelings. Yet he didn't want to do it. Yes, troublesome people are often people in trouble. They may be mentally ill. Find out how you can help. Write Better Mental Health, Box 3000, New York 1, New York.
Funny if you replace the mentally ill point part with moist. They may be moist.
He did it again. Caused trouble. Hurt someone's feelings. Yet he didn't want to do it. Yes, troublesome people are often people in trouble. They may be mentally ill. Find out how you can help. Write Better Mental Health, Box 3000, New York 1, New York.
Anyway, So standing in line at the old polls.
He's an asshole, sir.
Yes, I am an asshole. Or am I
Asshole.
the
Major
only one
asshole.
Who may have
Gun is made first class. Philip asshole.
may
I know
have
that.
profiled- Hey, did you profile people too?
Anyhow.
Oh, absolutely. I was guessing who was voting for who as they're walking up. I'm like, yep, short hair, female with yoga pants on. Yep, that's a Biden voter. Oh, kid with red hair and 38 nose piercings. Yep, that's them. Oh, guy camouflage. Yep, that's who he's voting for. Definitely. Oh, we had I was driving to Dad's yesterday. And of course, because it's Cape Coral, there's always an accident on a main thoroughfare, so I had to take a side route and drive down Veterans. Majority of them pickup trucks, as Lady Gaga so affectionately pointed out in the video she posted of herself wearing camouflage, making fun of rednecks, being Trump supporters, and busting a beer over her head, expressing people got to vote for Biden. But there was like probably 200 to 300 people driving their trucks and their cars, and even like flags hanging out of their sunroofs. It was basically a Trump parade yesterday. It was insane.
Yeah, I just don't know how that whatever. Yeah, identity politics, and they're just going on feelings. Anyway, yeah. So this chick would not let her kid come along into the world until she made that vote.
Because she couldn't go the next day? Couldn't find a babysitter? Well, I guess to be truthful, you don't want to have a kid that young around third parties with the low immune systems.
So there's this crazy snake. Well, somebody thought it was a snake. It was found in Virginia.
Badgers,
And it almost
mushrooms,
looked a lot
mushrooms,
like
badgers, mushroom, snake, oh, it's a snake. For those of you on the internet in 2002, you're welcome.
So there's this weird snake found in Virginia that had a half-moon shaped head. People thought it was a snake.
Was it the West
then-
Virginia cousin fucker?
Close, it was a large invasive species of Asian worm.
Ugh.
Virginia Wildlife Management and Control posted a photo of a creature last week, noting, you got to almost look this thing up. It's AP News Oddities. Just talk about
West Virginia. What's the name of it?
Thing.
Snake.
It is a freakish snake found in Virginia's worm. Just put that.
Freakish snake found in Virginia's worm. That's what you said.
Sounds freakish snake found in Virginia is large invasive species of worm. Just shorten it up a little bit. I would do share screen, but I think it just tilt.
Yeah. What's with you and all the pinball vernacular?
I don't know. It's today.
That thing looks like a freaking hammerhead shark on a head on a snake's body.
Yeah. So one of the problems with this snake, besides not ever seeing anything before like it, and it's a freak of nature.
I'll post this for you.
This
Find people
worm
on Facebook.
Is they come to find out it's a flatworm. Yeah, it's not that exciting. The problem is when bits of them are amputated, and we're talking down to 1/130th or 1/1/300th of the width of the body. Well, now it just turns into two worms. You cut it into 3/4 pieces, it turns into 3/4 worms. It is damn near indestructible unless they suggest to either put bleach, light it on fire, or salt to from anything from salt to vinegar.
Well, how come no one's like doing research on this thing? We know that they have been like doing research on jellyfish and shellfish as a form of trying to grow back, missing body parts and shit. Wouldn't this be the next candidate?
That's true, but the person who found the worm, which was not identified, nor was the exact location, according to Virginia Wildlife Management, said, "Don't kill the worm. They're just trying to be lit. They just left it alone." So, yeah, we got some weird, freakish-looking worms running around this country.
I guess.
They've been seen anywhere from Texas up to Maine. And on that wormy note, slimy note, speaking of slimy, tomorrow's going to be a really slimy day. I'm done.
Yeah, it's gonna be something. It's
gonna be something.
Introducing the Greenmark Prepaid Visa Credit Card, the most widely used prepaid Visa credit card when it comes to scamming rubes on the internet.
Thanks to the Greenmark card, I was able to settle my tax code violations with the IRS with one easy transaction of $699. No lawyers, no accountants. What a great deal. And Greenmark card made it so easy. Thanks, Greenmark card.
Greenmark invests its own money to help you save up for the future by paying you an unlimited 4% cash back bonus when you make an online purchase. But keep in mind, if you're dumb enough to prepay for a car off a Facebook Marketplace before you see the car or even get the title, that shit's on you, and we offer you no protection.
No protection at all?
That's right. The Greenmark card is the preferred choice by desperate Middle Easterners looking to rip off naive American senior citizens. When my grandson called me in a pickle and explained that he was on a missionary trip to Africa, lost his wallet, and his wife took ill, I was able to help him out in a jiffy, thanks to the Greenmark card. So why not join hundreds of thousands of unsatisfied, ripped-off Greenmark users who think they're internet savvy but still find themselves preloading hundreds of dollars onto a Greenmark card at 3 a.m. in a local Walmart?
When I got that email from someone I didn't know, warning me that they captured me in photos looking at certain websites that may or may not have been porn, and that if I didn't pay them $500, they would share them with everyone I know in my contact list. Well, it was a godsend to know that Greenmark was there, and I was able to pay them off with no paper trail. Thanks, Greenmark.
The Greenmark card. It's the number one choice by internet scammers and hackers worldwide when it comes to ripping off naive Westerners. We here at Greenmark know this, but take no action to protect you, our clients. After all, we still get our beaks wet.
Whoa, what?
The Greenmark card. Get it where all fine prepaid credit cards are available. Suckers.
The Greenmark card is not responsible for any fraudulent or moralist engagements between a second and or third party when used to pay for any goods, services, actions, or sexual deviancies.
And that is going to wrap it up for this episode of the What's in Your Head podcast. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us on another Monday. And I see you on Twitch. Thank you for watching us on Twitch. I was just looking at some of the streams. Thank you guys for watching us on YouTube. And of course, thank you guys all for watching us on Facebook. Please, if you haven't done so, if you're watching us, head over to YouTube and subscribe to both the Digital 410 and Analog 410 network. Head over to d-410.com or what'sinyourhead.com and click on that Patreon link. Gordon, where can people find you?
I can be found at Aegis74 at Instagram and Gordon at D-410 on Facebook. Holy cow. I think I have just hit my wall.
Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Let's hope we all get through the rest of this week. Well, we know that we're not going to know anything by the end of tomorrow. So hopefully we'll know what the hell is going on with our country by Friday. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with us for another night. Please, if you enjoy the podcast, the best way to show us love other than signing up for Patreon is simply sharing us with your friends. Word of mouth is the best way, is the best value spent on getting podcasts out there to people. So if you enjoy our show, please share us on your Facebook page. Please tell your friends in person, your coworkers. You got the guy who runs the front loader at work who's bored all day. Tell them to download it on, you can download us on iTunes, Google Music, which I will say Google Podcast is effed up. If you leave your car and restart it, it starts back over from the beginning. So I suggest either iTunes, Stitcher, or Spotify, and iHeartRadio. By the way, iHeartRadio, I can't help but notice you play advertisement before my podcast. Can I get some of that money, please? That would be nice. But anyhow, please spread the word. Let all your friends know you like our podcast. And if you don't like our podcast, well, don't tell them anything. Thank you guys so much. And remember, if you never get out of your comfort zone, you'll never get out of bed. So go out and challenge yourself and enjoy life while you're here. Thank you guys so much. And we will talk to you all next week. Say bye, Gordon.
Bye.
This has been a Digital 410 production.